Hello and welcome to an absolutely terrifying edition, masterclass edition of Cracking the Cryptic. This is the episode each week where either Mark or I attempts to solve today's Times Cryptic crossword. Now, Friday is normally the hardest puzzle of the week. I can tell you that the unofficial rating of the difficulty of the Times crossword, which is called the SNITCH rating, suggests that today's puzzle is not only the hardest puzzle of the week, it is the hardest puzzle of the year. Perhaps not surprising given we're in January. It's the hardest puzzle of the last, the last time there was a puzzle that was even remotely close to it being as difficult as this was in 2018. That's quite a long time ago. The total SNITCH archive only goes back a bit before that. And I can tell you that based off the rating of this puzzle, this is in with a shot, depending on how the SNITCH moves through the day. It's within a point or two of being the hardest puzzle since the SNITCH rating was created in 2015. Now, that is absolutely terrifying. So if you are new to solving the Times Cryptic crossword and you watch this video and you find that I struggle with it monumentally, don't feel bad about your own positions. This is going to be terrifyingly difficult. And it's by John Henderson, who is an old friend of mine. You can find him on social media as Enigmatist. I think John sets for many of the broadsheet newspapers and some of the magazines as well. Phenomenal brain. What old Times crossword champion as well. If I'm not, I'm sure I'm right about that. Let's have a quick look at the stats. Actually, this is interesting because Jason James, 8 minutes 47. I mean, that's going to be clearly a phenomenal time. That's real. That's definitely real. Moan is John McCabe. That is real. 13 minutes 33. Now, I might be misstating it, but John's average time at the moment is something absurd, like 4.5 minutes. So this is a very long time. Let's just go a bit further down. I'm looking for, there's a name. That is Matthew Marcus, last year's winner of the Times Crossword Championship, or the 2023 winner. 22 minutes. Now, I'm pretty certain Matthew's average time will be something like 6 minutes. So, I mean, this is just nuts. I mean, there are some very good solvers' names I'm seeing here. Whoa, oh goodness, okay. And then errors are creeping in at 52nd on the list, which is incredibly quickly. You can get on the list with 2 errors. This just does not happen. Anyway, I will try and do it. Have I got my dictionary? Let me go to the check. Yes, I do. Let's move my dictionary over here. So in case we need it, I'll use it to sort of justify entries rather than to look up words I don't know before I've solved, if you see what I mean. That's going to be the idea of the dictionary. Although this puzzle is so difficult, I might indeed need the dictionary. And I've got a birthday to do. I want to do a birthday. Joseph, you turned 27 on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, and I think that you really do enjoy these Friday editions of Cracking the Cryptic. So thank you very much for the email. I hope you had a great birthday, and I hope that there was some chocolate cake in store then, or perhaps today. And with that said and done, let us get cracking. It's this one, isn't it? So, not the quick cryptic. We might have a go at the quick cryptic later. So, here we go. One across. Bird continues to nest in hide. I mean, all I will say about that clue is the wording of it is sublime. I think it's going to be the name of a bird. So as usual, in a cryptic crossword clue, there is always a sort of quick crossword definition. So if you're good at quick crosswords, you just have to learn the language of cryptic crosswords and you will be good at those. So I think we need a word for continues, and that's going to nest in. So that's going to be inside a synonym of a word for hide. Hide could be den, pen, pigeon. Continues. Is If something continues, is synonymous with continues? Simon is alive. Some continues alive. Not sure. Bird continues. I've got no clue what that is. Okay, let's try one down. Pains in rear. Oh, I hope this isn't some medical term. From nasty infection for the duration of the game. Sort of playtime or something would be the duration of the game. Pains in rear from nasty. The rear from the word nasty is why. Infection. For the duration of the game. So I want that to be something like year long, or it's not that, but oh goodness, I mean that so both one across and one down just mean nothing to me. Vienna. Let's try 4 across. Swiss produce soldiers to probe meat supply line. Okay, the only thing I can think of here is the word supply. I always find supply an interesting word in a cryptic crossword clue, because if I read the word supply differently, supplely, and supply are spelt the same, but if you treat letters or a word supplely, you might have to anagram it. So could this be Swiss produce soldiers to probe meat supplely? So an anagram of meat around whatever Swiss produced soldiers it might mean. So Swiss produce. It's going to be the name of a cheese or chocolate, I would think. Soldiers to yeah, okay. Emmental. I've done one. That is such a clever clue. Good grief, but I have done one. I'm reasonably proud of that. I'm sorry, I know that's hubris, but okay. So when I finally read it properly, it was easier. Swiss produce, Emmental. Soldiers, if you referred to your army, you might say my men, my soldiers. So men probes an anagram of meat, and then L is a valid abbreviation for line. And again, we do this every week, but let's just go. If you're going to abbreviate a word to its initial, it has to be supported by the dictionary. You can't just look at this clue, where is it, and say, okay, I'm going to make produce the letter P. Because if you look in the dictionary under P, you will not find that P is a valid abbreviation for produce. It has to be supported by the dictionary. So no, it won't be there. No, it is there. I know it's there. There, line. So this is Emmental, and that gives us a letter it gives us a few starting letters. 5 down. Notice several days in spring. March would be several days in spring. Fitting around golf society. I want that to be marching orders. I've got to not think about a golf society here, because I play a reasonable amount of golf, and therefore golf societies they evoke things in my mind which are almost certainly not helpful. Yeah, it is marching orders. I've got it right. So the clue is notice. And if you're an employer and you give someone notice, you're basically firing them, aren't you? You're giving them their marching orders. How does the wordplay work? Several days in spring is the month of March. Now, if something is fitting, it is in order. And in order is going around G, which is a valid abbreviation for golf, because in the International Radio Alphabet, golf is used for the letter G, like Romeo is used for R. And so what we've got is march in order around G, and then that word society can be abbreviated to S, and that gives us marching orders. So at least we have got 2 entries in the grid, 6 down. Be disparaging about women, perhaps, going topless. It must be disparaging about, I think will be the... Oh, no. Oh, could it be exist? Yes. Right. Okay. The only trick to solving this clue is to cut the clue in the correct position. If you cut the clue in the correct position, the clue becomes easy. It isn't that easy to cut it in the right position, but if we do, you'll see what I mean. I am going to cut this clue after the word be. And that's hard to do if you're not used to cryptic crosswords, because be disparaging about is quite a natural phrase. It flows off the tongue. But if we cut the clue after the word be and we say, okay, we're looking for a word which means be. If you exist, don't you? And now read the rest of the clue. Disparaging about women. If you're disparaging about women, you are sexist. Obviously, if it was disparaging about men, the word perhaps there is sexism can be either way round, can't it? But disparaging about women perhaps is sexist. And if that word sexist goes topless, it loses its first letter and it becomes exist. So we've actually got 3 now. Let's try 13. Oh, warning from Spooner in the kitchen, where there's great activity. Hot plate or something. What's this reference to Spooner? There's one of these sort of every couple of days in a Times crossword, and if you've been doing cryptic crosswords for any amount of time, you will have seen references to the Reverend Spooner. And apparently the Reverend Spooner used to sort of take a 2-word phrase like, I don't know, marching orders, and then switch the sort of initial synonyms around. So it might become marching orders, might become orching matters or something. So there's a sort of initial switch of letters. So warning from Spooner in the kitchen is going to be something like hot food. But then that's going to become fothood. But then that's weird, isn't it? Because I want it to involve hot somehow, but this would need no adjustment. So maybe I've got the wrong end of the stick. Hot. And stop thinking about hot. Pot's hot. Hotspot. 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 That's right. A hotspot is a place of great activity, and pot's hot, if we switch it round, would be a warning in the kitchen. So that's another one knocked on the head. Let's try it. 11 across. Periodic suppression of kidnapping and imminently dropping litter. In heat or something. Periodic suppression suggests to me that we need... Oh, okay. I've got this. I've never heard this expression before. What I was going to say is it suggests we need to take, or we need to suppress or remove regularly occurring letters from the word kidnapping. Now, given it begins with I, and I is the second letter of the word kidnapping, I think what we're going to have to do is remove all the odd letters. Letters 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9 from the word kidnapping. And I think if you do that, you get in pig. And in pig must be an expression for, a sow being about to give birth, imminently dropping litter, I think. So that's going to give us a chance at 7. What's this? Let's try and do this without looking at the clue. I can't think of any word. Topspin would go in there. Topspin, maybe then. Part of Rashid's armoury steals trophy from the ground. Well, is it topspin then? Rashid. I don't know. Maybe there's a famous sportsman. Is there a topspin? Is that a tennis player now? I thought I knew a bit about tennis players. Rashid. Oh, or is it a cricket? Is there a bowler who's got a good top spinner or something? I don't know. I think it's topspin. If you steal, do you nip? I think you do. To nip. I mean, words like swipe would be more synonymous for me with stealing, but to nip, I could believe nip has a meaning, which is to steal. And then a trophy is a pot. That's a fairly familiar synonym that comes up in Times Crosswords. I think topspin must be right. Part of Rashid's armory. Top. Probably topspin. I just don't know the sporting reference there. 8 down. Down south in remote lands. It must be lights, isn't it? Down. If an aircraft goes down, to down I don't know. To light is to land, that's for sure. Oh, lands, okay. How does this work? I'm sure it's light, I just don't understand why. To land is to light, so lands, so it must be the last letter, the last word that's the definition. Down south in remote. Oh, God, that's so clever again. Right. Let's south can be abbreviated to S. No one will be surprised about that. North, south, east and west. Now if you think of a word that means remote, is there a remote chance of you doing that? Is there a slight chance of you doing that? Slight and remote are synonymous, aren't they? So if we move down in the word, the abbreviation for south from the top to the bottom, slight would become lights, and that means lands. That's very clever. It's so well worded. Let's risk 9 down because it would be so helpful. I'm relaxed about that. No, I thought it might be take it easy or something. It's not. Light approach and effort. I'm relaxed about that. Don't worry about me. I'm relaxed about that. Light approach and effort. Effort. If you make an effort at something, you have a go at it. So maybe it ends in go. I'm relaxed about that. Light approach. Easy come, easy go. If something's light, it's easy. It must be easy come, easy go. Let's put that in and see if we can justify it. Easy come, easy go. I'm relaxed about that. Easy come, easy go. Light approach. Easy to approaches to come. And then oh, I see. It's saying a light approach and a light effort would be an easy come and an easy go. Right. So that's great. That is great because now, well, what's that? Super ego? One for the road, this may stop me indulging. It's not super ego, I don't think so. One for the road, this may stop me indulging. I don't know. Okay, let's try that. Ornament. Medication program overlooked by office. Oh goodness, now I'm worried about easy come, easy go. Medication program overlooked by office. I don't know. I think sorry, that's just too. I was very excited about getting easy come, easy go. I can't do anything with it. What's this? In the old days, Duck cycled around historic county, Yorkshire. That's not his. I mean, it's a county that still is. Maybe it's historic. Maybe Yorkshire is just being defined by county. Let's just put Yorkshire in and see if we can justify it. So, in the old days of yore, Y-O-R-E, duck, shirk. If you shirk a job. Oh, okay. I don't understand what historic's doing in the clue here. Maybe Yorkshire's still a county, isn't it? I mean, you never know. They do keep, messing about with counties and things, but Yorkshire, I mean, it is a historic county, I suppose, in the sense it's been around for a long time. Maybe that's why historic is there. But I think in the old days, in the days of yore, we put a word for duck, shirk, which has cycled, so we're moving the last letter of shirk to its first position, which gives us K-shear. So Yorkshire, I think, is right. Let's have a look at 25. Don's neighbour has called in disarray. Don's neighbour has called in disarray. Oh, come on, what is that getting at? Don's neighbour. I don't know. That's very cleverly worded again. I mean, we've got an A in 23. Warring figure. No. I was going to say samurai. That's just such nonsense. Warring figure after some liquor. Warring figure after some liquor. Tequila? It's not tequila, but a figure after some liquor. It's a really clever clue, because I really want this to be a word that means warring, because the wordplay seems clear. It seems to say find a word which means figure and put it after a word for some liquor, like a tot, for example. That would be a measure of a bit of liquor, wouldn't it? A nip, or a tot, or rum, or something. Short synonyms for an amount of liquor or a type of liquor. But a four-letter word ending in A, meaning figure, and then a seven-letter word meaning warring. I don't think I'm getting the point on that one. Let's try that one. Carrying very minute drops, or very minute drops, so we better take into account that possibility, from impure. Carrying very minute drops from impure liquid. Okay, so I think I understand the wordplay here. I think that what we have to do, this is upriver. I've got it, actually. It's upriver, towards the source. How did we get this? Well, we just had to read it very slowly. Carrying very. Well, I know very can be abbreviated to V. So carrying, i.e. surrounding, V. M, which is a valid abbreviation for minute, drops from impure. Well, that would just give us I pure, wouldn't it? But if we treat the letters of I pure in a liquid way, they would be fluid, they would be anagrammed. So we put V in an anagram of I pure, and then R is a valid abbreviation for runs, from cricket scoring, and that all means something that means towards the source, which is upriver. Superego fits it. This is ridiculous. Why is it superego? Supremo, or this may stop me indulging. I don't know. I mean, if that's superego, it can't be. Oh, auto something. One for the road. Auto. I don't know. I'm not sure. Let's try 22 down. Up to carrying cross, it'll repel evil. Up to carrying cross. Cross here makes me think of an X, you know, what you put on a piece of work if you were a schoolmaster or mistress and you were marking it wrong. It'll repel evil. So what repels evil? A mascot or some sort of totem? Up to, what does that mean? Until? Or you're capable of doing it. If you're up to something, or you're up to something, you could be doing something nefarious, up to no good. See, like doxing. If you're up to something, you're doing it. If that's carrying a cross, it has an X in it. Doxing. To dox does mean something nowadays, doesn't it? Doesn't to dox mean... I think if you're doxing, you're sort of deleting... Oh, I'm not sure, actually. I'm just not sure. If that was an O... Oh, a warring figure. Oh, goodness, that's horrible. A warring figure beginning with O. No. Doesn't feel right, does it? Let's try 26. Organ. Liver? Donor has left for good. Well, that is an easier clue. Well, maybe it's because we've got the V, but if you're a donor, you're a giver, aren't you? And that has L for left. L is a valid abbreviation for left. Instead of G for good. Again, G is a valid abbreviation for good. So that one is definitely easier, and that puts pay to doxing. Not surprising. It'll repel evil. Don't know. Alright, let's try 28. Fighter. Being mountain-based occupies lower ground. I want that to have an anagram of lower around. A being mountain-based, is that an orc? Oh. So the way I'm reading this, I think this is going to be the name of a fighter. And then being mountain-based, I think we need a being. It could be an animal, I suppose, but my mind went to orc because I love Tolkien. Short synonym for something that lives in a mountain or on a mountain. And that's inside, lower ground. Why am I saying an anagram of lower? Well, if you grind something, you mill it, don't you? You sort of destroy it. And so if we grind the letters of lower, because they have been ground, then we could anagram them. So I love the idea of it being an anagram of lower. Fighter. A fighter. Does it begin with W, do we think? Or does it begin with L? W would be better, I think, with 22 down. Right, an L here looks very strange, doesn't it? Up to carrying cross, it'll repel evil. If this is W, if that's W, the second letter's, well, it depends if it's orc in the middle of it. Oh, I don't know. Let's try 24 down. Vessel, that road carries north. Vessel, that road carries north. That feels like it's got N in it, doesn't it? I think it's going to be the name of a vessel. And then we're going to have a 4-letter word for a road. I immediately thought lane, but that's not right. And that's going to have N in it for north. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, I've got this one. Right. Okay, it's a brilliant clue again. So, I'm now trying to work out 28 across, and I can't do it. So let's stick with what we're doing. 24. Now, there's normally one of these in every Times crossword. Sometimes they're very hard to see, and this one was very hard to see. And it's a hidden, i.e. a clue in which the answer is actually spelt out within the clue. So I was right. We are looking for a word that means vessel, but perhaps not in the sense that you might be thinking. And let's read the rest of it. That road carries north. And what this is trying to say is look at the phrase, that road, because in that phrase is carrying a reversal, because this is a down clue, and if we send something north, we would reverse it, the answer we're looking for. So that road, if you look inside that road and you imagine it being reversed, you can see A-O-R-T-A, aorta, which is one of the most important arteries, isn't it, going into the heart, so a sort of vessel for the blood. Now, let's go back here. Tarragon would fit. Oh no, it's going to be one of those, is it Toreador or something? It's going to be one of the bullfighters. Occupies lower ground. Is it Toreador? Can you spell Toreador like that? And if you could, would it help you? It's not got an anagram of lower, has it? Occupies being mountain-based. I don't see any beings that are mountain-based within that. I really don't. Occupies lower ground. I mean, no, I don't see it. I mean, if it has got the name of a being that's mountain-based in it, that seems to have a. Oh, I mean, if it involves an anagram of lower, sorry. Our being that's mountain-based is probably 3 letters with an A in the middle, which is going to be, goodness, I don't know. So what's this one again? Oh, this is still our warring figure. Nirvana after some liquor. After some liquor. Warring figure. After some liquor. Oh, I mean, what is this talking about? I don't know. Oh no, I've got no clue. This is terrifying as well, because I've looked at all 3 of the clues down here and I can't solve any of them. So that's going to be a bit of a ricket, I suspect. Let's try 16 down. Looking to heaven. Maybe it ends in sky. This writer's inspiring leporine sage. I tend to see the word leporine very often. I presume that means somebody who's got leprosy. Looking to heaven might mean a reversal. This writer's inspiring. What about an Indian sage? Is it like Maharishi or something? Quite like that idea. Let's put that in and just see if we can justify it. The other reason I like this is that this writer, the clue writer, is referring to themselves. So I'm wondering if that means I or I'm. And I'm, looking to the heaven, the word I'm is inspiring, so it's surrounding leporine. Oh no, this. Oh, okay. No, I am wrong. Hairish is like a hair, isn't it? I think that's what leporine means. Sorry, I thought, well, I wonder if it has 2 meanings, but there is, I think, I think leporine might have a meaning of like a hare, because isn't lupin and like leveret, I want to say. I'm wondering if there is some root in probably Latin to do with creatures that look like rabbits and hares that begin LE. So I think that must be right. So it's I am, this writer's, looking to heaven, reversed, inspiring hairish for leporine to give us a sage Maharishi. And then we get a 22 across. One on the wing, so that could be the name of a bird, that races linesman. Okay, yes. Right. So, one on the wing that races. This is a double definition. We need. It is the name of a bird that races. It is also the name of a linesman in the sense of somebody who writes lines, somebody who writes poetry. And if we think about our classical poetry, we might think of Homer. And a homing pigeon is it's the name of something that races. It's a racing pigeon, isn't it? I think. I think that's what the clue's getting at. So now we get an M in 21 down. Not much, covering one, ousting Democrat from US. Not much covering. I love the idea that this might be a word for not much covering. So sort of a mankini or something. It couldn't be mankini, not much covering. I bet it is mankini, actually. Now I've had that thought, I really like it. Not much covering. One ousting Democrat. Is it mankind or something? One. No, it's not the US, it's us. So, okay. Very clever. That's brilliant. How can this clue be about Borat? Because not much covering is mankini. And the way we're meant to read it is one, which is the letter I. We can think of that as if we say one does this, we might mean I do this. Or as a Roman numeral, one. The Roman numeral for number one is I. So we've got I is ousting the D. D is a valid abbreviation for Democrat. So one is replacing the D in a word, a 7-letter word that would describe us. Well, we are mankind, aren't we? So that gives us mankini, which is, well, that feels a fortunate solve. Let's go back to this. Oh dear. Don's neighbour has called, rang, derange. Oh, okay. Is this a reference to rivers then? I think there is a river. If this is wrong, I'm going to sound so stupid. But I think that there is a river called the Don, and maybe it's close to a river called. There is definitely a river called the Dee, and maybe the Dee and the Don are sort of neighbouring rivers. So Don's neighbour is the river Dee, D-E-E, and that has a word for called inside it. I'm going to sneeze. Don't sneeze. Bad thing to do. Bad, terrible thing in a video. No, go away, sneeze. Go away. No, bad sneeze. Right, bad sneeze has gone. Right, word for called. If you called somebody, you rang them inside. So derange, and that obviously it means disarray. If you're in disarray, or if you derange something, you disarray it. Let's try 17 down. Free something. Plant. Joint tenants outside of town. Plant. It's probably the name of a plant. Joint tenants. Flatmates or something outside of town. Plant. What on earth is that talking about? I haven't got a clue. Let's try 29. A favourite car in business. A favourite car in business. What could we do with this? A favourite car. I mean, there are short synonyms for cars, like mini, co or something. A business is quite often co, as in a company. Limo. A favourite is a pet. Why is the word a in this clue? Favourite car in business means just about the same as a favourite car in business. So does that mean this begins with a? A favourite car in business. Golly, I don't know. Okay, so we've got some terrifying things to figure out. Oh, what is it? Why is that not ornament? Ointment is appointment without its app. Okay. So medication is ointment. A program. This comes up more and more often, I think, as people get used to the word app. And so app is obviously a type of computer program. So app is being overlooked in a word that means office, and office is an appointment, isn't it? So we take app out, we get ointment, and at least we've got that one. So let's go back to the top, the northwest corner, and have a look at 10 across. It's just beginning to sell in markets. It's just beginning to sell. So, yeah, I like this, the framing of the clue that I've come up with there. So if this was a phrase that means it's just, like something fair is what I'm thinking. If something is just, it's fair, isn't it? And then that has the beginning to the word sell, which would be an S, in a phrase that means markets. A fair is a market, isn't it? F-A-I-R. If you go to a fair, that is describing a market. So I just need another. I need another 4-letter word from market. And the whole thing means, how about fair's fair? Fair's fair. that's the easiest way of doing it. Fair's fair means it's a good result. It's an equal result. It's just. And then, so beginning to sell is that S in 2 words that mean markets. And they're both, in this case, the word fair. So, 1 down. Oh, we've looked at this one. What was this? I thought this might begin with Y. Pains in rear. From nasty infection. For the duration of the game. Lifespan or something? Life. Pains in rear. From nasty infection. Oh, I don't know. Let's try 12 across. Heartless lad. Boy. Without its heart would give us BY. Grab single. Bunk. Baloney. There we go. That's at least a better solve. So all we had to do there was to think of the synonym for lad. And then lad, son, you might see SON occasionally, but boy jumped out at me, and that's okay. So what's this one then? Life. Pains in rear. Oh, there's a lot of opportunities for me to say something that would be totally inappropriate here. For the duration of the game, let's try 22 down. All but crack the central character in Peter Pan. Central character in Peter is T. So does this mean pan? Is it skillet? That is a type of a pan. Yes, okay, if you're crack at something, you're skilled at it. So that's going to be correct. So all but is saying take almost all of a word that means crack, skilled. So we take most of it, and then we add the central character from Peter, the T, and we get a word that means pan, which is skillet. Now, it's such a good clue, because it's so hard for us not to see that phrase Peter Pan and not read it as Peter Pan. But you can't. If you read it as Peter Pan, you could never solve the clue. You have to sort of divide it up and be aware that John is almost certainly trying to trick you. So let's try 3 down. Possibly lying at home. At home, if you're at home, you're in. So I'm wondering if this is insincere. I like. Possibly lying. If you're lying, you're telling untruths. You're being insincere. Seeing what's before me. Since. Why is that insincere? Don't know, but I bet it is. At home, in. Seeing. Since. Oh, that's so clever. Oh, goodness. Yeah. So the word seeing, you might use it as seeing as, I was going down to the shops. Since I was going down to the shops. Seeing and since are synonymous. And what's before me is getting at musical notes. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. What's the note before the mi there? It's the re. R-E. And if we look up re in the dictionary, it'll say something like in the sol-fa system. One of the notes, probably the second note of the sol-fa scale or something. The second note of the scale in sol-fa notation. So that is why we've got re at the end of insincere there. Now, can we get 24? Sorry, 24. What's going wrong with my ability to read? 14 across. Rich. Released from further education. Revolutionized, so reversed. Capacity, liter. Why? Rich. Why is this liter? Liter is a measure of capacity in liquids, isn't it? So, rich. Released from further education. Is this something to do with free or freed? Rich. If you're lit, could you be described as wealthy? Rich? And if you were released from further education, revolutionized. No, I don't like it. I don't think it's right. I think why is my phone buzzing? That's fine. There's something going on there. I think further education is going to be FE. That is a valid abbreviation I've seen before. The word revolutionized is suggesting some sort of reversal. Rich. I don't know. Have I looked at one across? No, I haven't. Let's go back there. Siskin. Got it. That's the name of a bird. Okay, so let's go back to our first thought. Continues. If something is, it continues. It persists, doesn't it? And then that nests in a 4-letter word for your hide. Well, your hide is your skin. And the siskin is the name of a bird. So the answer to this is going to be... Let's try it. Softball is a type of sport. Pains in rear from nasty infection for the duration. What? I mean, I think it's softball, but I do not understand it. Let's try and work it out. So, pains in rear from nasty infection. For the duration of. For the duration of, there must be a word. TB? Is that a nasty infection? Well, it certainly is a nasty infection. Okay, so TB is in this somewhere. Pains. Pains in rear. Could that be the rear of the word pains? That would be S. From nasty infection. TB. S of all. It's something to do with of all, I think, for the duration of. Is that what of all means? He was the best of all. He was the best for the duration of. From nasty infection. I can't quite get the passing of this. I think it's I'm not sure. I think from. It's something like this, and it's not, but it isn't. I'm not going to articulate this quite correctly. It's something like pains. I think pains in rear is the letter S. From nasty infection, TB. That must be TB. But that's in of all. And I don't quite understand why that's for the duration of. But I think it must be right. We must be looking for the name of a game that fits this pattern. Oh, I wish I could understand it. Pains in rear. From nasty infection. S of all. For the duration of. Well, I'm not changing softball, so let's just look up of all and see if that's defined as for the duration of. Of all. No, it's not really there, is it? Pains in rear from nasty infection, TB. For the duration of. I mean, you don't get pains in the rear from TB, do you? I don't know. I don't think so. Pains in rear. If you rear something, you breed it, don't you? Bring it up. No. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why that is softball. I would need to think about it more. So in the interests of just making the video not interminably long, let's keep going. This now does look like litre again. But why? Capacity. It must be litre. So I've got something to understand about this one as well. Rich. Rich is like fruitful, bounteous. Released from further education. Revolutionized. Oh, I don't know. Lit free? If again, I'm not even sure about this one now. Rich, released from further education, revolutionized. So it feels like you revolutionize. You turn around. I think it might have something to do with free, but I can't see why. If something is lit, maybe it can be rich. So maybe that's dealing with that. So why is RE released from further education, revolutionized? I don't know. I really don't know. No, I haven't got that at all. But it must be Lita. So it must be softball. It must be Lita. This looks like super ego. How can it be that? Is one defining? I mean, super ego is part of your psyche, isn't it? It's like, so maybe one is defining oneself by, or one's super ego. For the road, this may stop me indulging. Hang on. Let's put it in and just see if we can understand anything about this. One for the road, this may stop me indulging. What? It's so wrong, isn't it? I bet there's another word that, I mean, how can there be? Oh, superhero? No. One for the road. I mean, if that isn't super ego and there is another word that fits there, that's quite unlucky for me. One for the road. This may stop me indulging. I have not got a clue. So this is unbelievably difficult. There are now 3 clues at least that I just don't understand, but I'm almost certain are right. I'm almost certain it is softball. I'm almost certain it's Lita, and I'm almost certain it's super ego. I mean, this one just on the basis I can't think of another word that could possibly fit this pattern. But that's a dangerous assumption, isn't it? I definitely wouldn't lock this one in. I'm nervous that there is another word I'm not thinking of here. Okay, but we've still got these other 5 entries to do, even if this is super ego. Let's go back. Oh, this is the carrying the cross one. Mule, amulet, done it. There we go. That's good that I came back to this one. A mule is a cross. So I was thinking of X. That's all I've been able to think of. But when we came back to it, I thought, oh, a cross is a hybrid, isn't it? And a hybrid animal is a mule. I think it's a cross between, I don't know, maybe is it an ass and a donkey? Are they different things? Or is it a horse and a donkey? I don't know. But a mule is some sort of cross. Let's look it up. I'm not changing amulet. We might as well learn together. A mule, a donkey and a horse. There you go. So, and then what's at doing it? Up to must be at. If you're at something, you're up to it, aren't you? So, and something that will repel evil is an amulet. So, oh gosh, so there's this toreador then. Ah! Fighter. Being mountain-based occupies lower ground. Oh gosh, it's Oriad. I mean, that is so hard. That is so hard. Right. I mean, this is so hard. I cannot tell you. An Oriad is some sort of mountain nymph. That's as much as I could tell you. So a being mountain-based is an Oread. And that's occupying lower ground. Now you may say, hang about, Tor is high ground, like Glastonbury Tor. It's like a hill or a mountain. But exactly that, it's a hill. It's not a mountain. So a Tor would be a smaller type of hill than a mountain. So the being mountain-based, the Oread, is occupying lower ground because it's on a Tor rather than being on a mountain. And Toreador is a bullfighter of some description. Right, 23. Warring figure. Martinet. No, that's not right. After some liquor. What? I don't know. Oh dear, dear, dear. This is warring figure. After some liquor. What on earth is this guessing at? Warring, if you're martial, you're sort of, it's to do, the word martial's to do with war, isn't it? But that's all very well, but warring figure. Oh, God, Bennett, this is really hard. Warring figure after some liquor. There is a word. Ana, A-W-A-N-A. No, that's some sort of gossip, isn't it? A-A is, that's some sort of rock. Warring figure after some liquor. Mark, is that M-A-R-C? Is that some sort of brandy? I think that might be, so maybe it begins like that. Figure. So warring. No, I don't like this. A warring figure might be Mars. Marsala. Oh, yeah. Marsala. That's going to be right. Right, warring figure, the Roman god of war is Mars. So that's Mars. And then if you take after somebody, you do it Allah them. So Allah is after. And then some liquor must be Marsala. Now I thought Marsala was a spice, but I'm very confident that's right. So let's not change that. That it just feels right. So Marsala. Oh, it's wine. Okay. Oh goodness, I'm just sort of thinking chicken tikka masala. Is that spelt differently or something then? I don't know. Gosh. Right. So, but that's good in a way. So we've got 3 left, or 2 left if we believe strongly enough this is super ego. Let's try 29. Oh no, this is the car in the business. A favourite car in business. A favourite car in business. Business. Okay, if it means a 6-letter word which means business, what could it be? I don't know. We're going to have to get this one, aren't we? This was one I really didn't understand at all. Don't say that's all of them. Plant joint. Tenants outside of town. Joint tenants. Plant. Free. I want this to begin free. Mainly because it's the only sensible word I can think of that goes at the start of this. Outside of town. The outside of the word town is the T and the N. The outside of the word tenants is T and S. None of that looks good. Outside of town. Something Arius. No, airs a. No, I don't know. What else could this be then? If it's not free, what is this first word? I don't know. Tree? Plant, tree? I suppose a plant is a tree. Joint, plant joint, tree, tree fern. That's a type of plant. A tree fern. Why is it tree fern? I have no clue. Joint tenants outside of town. A joint is a reefer. Oh, gosh, that's ridiculous. Okay, so a reefer is a type of marijuana cigarette, I think. Mark always says marijuana as marijuana, but I say it as marijuana. Neither of us have any experience at all in the subject. So the joint is reefer, and that tenants. So it must be binds. Tenant must be a word that means bind in some way, as well as being a word for people who let things. The outside of the word town, which is the T and the N. Oh no, it's saying. No, it's not saying that. It's saying that it's using tenants as in occupies. So joint, the word reefer, is occupying. It's tenanting the outsides of the words town, the T and the N. That's brilliantly worded again. Tree fern, and now a favourite car in business. Minion? Favourite is that a minion? Car. If you're in business, are you on? If something's in business, it's going, isn't it? It's on. I think in business might be on here, and then mini for car, and a minion is a favourite. Oh, and hang on, so I haven't finished because I've still got to do this one. Right, one for the road. Is this some sort of word for a speedometer or something? This may stop me indulging. It's I want this to be, I don't know, is this something to do with breathalyzers or something? Why has that come into my head? One for the road. This may stop me indulging. I don't know. Sorry. I'm just going to have to think about this for a moment, which basically means do an alphabet trawl in my head to see if I can come up with a word that isn't super ego that fits here. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it, but for some reason, I think breathalyzing's come into my head because of the way the clue is phrased, rather than for anything more sophisticated than that. G-H, humour, no. K-L-M-N-O, numero uno, numero? I don't know, a medical term, interferon, then it's just jumped into my head. Why did that jump in there? Q, could it begin with Q? Have I had a Z in the puzzle? I can see an X in there. No, I don't think we're looking at a pangram, although that wasn't such a stupid thought, was it? R-S-T U-V-W-X-Y's. I'm not coming up with anything better than super ego. One for the road. I think superego's wrong. I just don't understand it at all. And like for the clue to not make any sense. This may stop me. Why would superego stop you indulging? Or why is there wordplay that could lead to superego? Let's put it in again just to have a look at it. One for the road. E.g.? Why is what's for example doing in this? Oh, I hope it's not the name of a car. One for the road. I'm not very good at... I got mini, and that's about the limit of what I'll know. This may stop me indulging. I don't know. Or could it be some sort of zero alcohol? Zero. Could it have zero in it? Coke Zero or something. One for the road. Bud Light. I quite like the fact this could end in zero. Now I've thought of it, but what could it possibly be? Oh, it's so difficult when you can think of a word for this absurd pattern of letters. It's very hard to make your brain really concentrate on there being probably another word. I mean, there can only be two. There cannot be a whole panoply of words that fit this nonsense pattern. Where have you come up with this word, John? One for the road. This may stop me indulging. And I don't know. If it is superego, what on earth is it talking about? I don't know. Oh gosh, and if I press submit and then everything's wrong as well, that's going to be so. How long have I had on this? Well, it's not. It's so far. It's not that long, given it's the hardest puzzle for sort of 10 years or something. One for the road. What's this letter? If that is not part of ego, what is that letter? I don't know. I haven't got it yet. Could it be an M or an N? Neutrino, no. R, something hero or zero? Don't know. One for the road. This may stop me indulging. I don't know. My brain is telling me this is something to do with alcohol. But that must be coming from the surface reading of the clue. One for the road. Sup. Is that a drink? This may stop me indulging. I don't know. I'll put superego. I don't understand it. If it's wrong, which it probably is, we'll actually use the dictionary and try and find out what the answer is. It's right. Well, I've had that. That's the thought. I mean, that was just about the first thought I had, and I don't understand it. Let's look it up. I think it's from Freud, isn't it? Superego. The strong unconscious inhibitory mechanism which criticizes the ego and causes it pain and distress when it accepts unworthy impulses from the id. So this maybe stop me indulging. The superego is something that stops you doing something what you might want to do. So that's why. That's the definition. Why is one for the road a superego? What on earth? A go for the road go? Sup? This may stop. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm going to. Well, I might. It may occur to me in the course of the video editing what's going on there, and then if it does, I might leave. I might leave my own comment. But that is real. I mean, it's brutally hard. I'm quite pleased to finish it, frankly. I mean, it's so difficult, and to do it on camera is, you know, when you are having to explain everything. Whereas, you know, if you're not doing it on camera and you can throw in some of the answers and maybe not worry too much about why they are exactly what they are, I do think that would be easier. But I don't understand softball, Lita, or superego. But we have made our way to the end of what is an absolutely incredible puzzle. It's so clever, honestly. So much of this is so clever. And I, for the avoidance of all doubt, I absolutely love puzzles like this. This is, if we had one of these every Friday, wouldn't it be an absolute treat? And I know it's brutal, but it's also, it's just wonderful. Mankini, that is so clever. That was probably my favourite clue. But there's so many to admire. So I think you definitely got the better of me there, John. But let's just check leporine. Let's see if we can get what's the root on the. Okay, yeah, no, it doesn't say leprosy at all, does it? It's simply lepus. From lepus. So is that the same root as, like, if we look up rabbit, is that? No, I don't know. I mean, leveret, I know, is a word for a hare, isn't it? A hare in its first year. So they're Latin lepus again. Wow. Anyway, right, let's have a quick look at the quick cryptic and see if we can do that with a little more aplomb. I will race on this one. The Fall of Kamala Harris. That is a really. Oh, it's autumn. That's brilliant. That is a brilliant clue straight away. Fats lard. Okay. A couple of females, clever and congenial, affable. Body temperature, torso. Stadium never condemned for accident. Misdemeanor, is it? Or misadventure, probably more likely. Generally at large. Doctor and I talk interminably. One drone. Sorry, that was terrible. 4C, I'm going to guess for that without really reading it. He's going to love this magazine. Hello. He's hell. Program broadcast, I would think. That's probably right. I'm going to go for that. Times editor removed. Time. What's that? Editor erased. Eras. A French team playing in Madrid. Unreal. Intend using Valium regularly. Aim. After evolution, bosses attract attention. Turn something, probably. A chap who's employed by the CAA agent. Panic after leader's departure. Error. Don't misclick. Moderate South African group holding power. Moderate sort of ANC or something. I don't know. Criminal married admiral. I think. Hang on. Admirer. What are you talking about? Be careful. Tory. What's that? Bishop worried about letter. Beta. Yeah. Hit by a bullet. This will give you a boost. Shot in the arm, I guess. Let's go for that one. Angelus Kut Lasagna. So turn, after evolution, turn heads to attract attention. Oh no, let's go for that one. Retiring English teacher getting pay rise. Yeah, pay increase, pay rise. Moderate South African group holding power. Moderates sparing? Yes. And then adventurous girl Alice? Yes. And limped excessively carrying hamper. Impede, that's a hidden. There we go. That wasn't so awful. I probably misclicked a few times, and I hope I haven't misspelt anything. 11th, not terrible. Quite terrible. I mean, look at that. John McCabe, 138. Admittedly, his typing's going to be rather better than mine, but even so, I've doubled his time all but. Oh, goodness, it's so depressing. Honestly, it's so depressing. But that was I really loved the one across clue there, the fall of Kamala Harris. Obviously, an evocative subject at the moment, but remember, these clues are designed to mislead you. And of course, it's very hard to read this clue and not immediately think of Kamala Harris and, you know, the state of what's going on in America. But it's nothing to do with that. It's linguistic. The fall, the month of the fall, is the season in America, and that's why the answer is autumn. Brilliant. Absolutely, that's a brilliant clue. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you're still with me now, do let me know how you got on. Don't beat yourselves up too much if that first puzzle was challenging. It was really, it is statistically about as challenging as the Times will publish. Yeah, if you did like the video, please think about liking and subscribing. We would really appreciate it. And dropping us a kind comment. We like the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.